Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Invasive weeds. Yes, believe it or not, invasive weeds are actually, or can be, I should say, plants that you buy at the garden center. Yeah, believe it or not. Yes, okay. How many people out there have ever bought English ivy? Well, English ivy is an invasive weed. And some people say, yeah, but it dies in my garden. Right. But in time, there are areas where it does go and take over and push out native plant material. So it is considered the invasive weed. I've got it in my garden. I control it. I know what to do with it. And of course, it's surrounded by sidewalk on two sides, and I let it run. Of course, I have to keep it out of my prostrate blue spruce, but again, it sort of has a tendency to shoot up. In this bed, I also have Japanese bloodgrass, again, another invasive weed. But I also put in that bed the hardy cactus, okay, and other little plants, and I've even got echinacea in there as a contrast in height and color and bloom, etc. So you can manage it if you know what you're doing. The variety that I've got growing in there is a speckled yellow, green, and a little bit of white in it. And of course, everybody says that's not the hardy English ivy, but it does very well and been there for 18 years. Goutweed, we all know, is being invasive. So let's be honest, it has no place in the garden. Surround it with solid concrete down at least 6, 8, 10 inches, and you might be able to control it. But you think so, right? Except that it also seeds itself. It doesn't spread just by its rhizomes, which means you could have it coming up in your garden, your lawn, the neighbors, etc. And speaking of neighbors, periwinkle. How many people have periwinkle in their yard? It is considered an invasive weed as well. Now, as an invasive weed, it invaded my garden, and the neighbor, or at some time or other, one of them, who lived next door, planted periwinkle as a ground cover. Works perfectly. Except now it's a ground cover in my garden. And I look at it and I'm going, you know what? It works there. Nobody really sees it. And I'm going, leave it alone, okay? And I consider it a gift, okay? Because it gets nice little blue flowers, etc. And it doesn't bother the plants that are there. So, yes, managed, it's fine. It's also great as a ground cover under trees, so you don't have to cut the grass and hit the roots, etc. And it's aggressive, and it's evergreen, and it gets periwinkle blue flowers. So, and at a garden center, they charge you. For Southern Ontario, Grow Me Instead, beautify non-invasive plants for your garden. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the podcast for this week.